is essentially pre-calc and a little bit of algebra too, with just simplifying logs and exponents. So we have our exponential function rules. So you have a to the 0. Anything to the 0 power is always 1. So a to the 0 is like 1. If you have x equaling negative n, then a to the x is a to the negative n, which is really 1 over a to the n. So you don't have these are just me reviewing some of the rules that I put on this handout for you. So you have all the rules on here. This is just talking through a couple of them. This is the big one. This is the one you do not want to forget. It says that log base a of x is equal to y is the same as a to the y equaling x. Conversely, with exponentials, e to the x equals y is the same as the natural log of y equaling x. And we know that because we know if we took the natural log of this, the e's would cancel, you'd get x, and you'd be left with natural log of y. That's similar to the idea over here. We also could use change of base with this concept. So it says for number 1, 2, and 3, I guess A, B, C, and D, rather, evaluate the following. So you have log base 3 of 81. So what you want to do is take that log base 3 of 81 and rewrite it. So the 81 is like your x. And that's saying log base 3 of y. So what would my y value need to be to get me to 81? Good. So log base 3 of 81 is really equal to 4. So similarly, log base 25 of 5. So it's like 5 to the y equals 25. Whoops, don't break that. Sorry, 5 equals 25 to the y. So what y value would you need to get to that? One half. So 0.001 equals 10 to the y. So again, what is 0.001 as a fraction? 1,000. So 10 to what exponent would give you 1,000? Yep. Negative 3. Okay, and letter D, the natural log of e to negative 100. What happens when you ln an e? So you get negative 100. That's it. That is simplifying logarithms. We can use the properties of logarithms to rewrite them as a single log. What has to happen is the bases have to be the same. So that means that this and this have to be the same value, so they're both 4s. So the log of base 4, 2, plus log base 4 of 32 can be rewritten as log base 4 of 2 times 32. Which is the same as log base 4 of 64, which would be the same as what? So again, what value do you have to raise 4 to get 64? 4 cubed is 64. Okay, log base 2 of 80 minus log base 2 of 5 is the same as log base 2 of 80 divided by 5, which Justin and Andrew learned was how much per person?
65. Yeah.
So log base 2 of 16. So what power do you have to raise 2 to get 16? Okay, use the properties of logarithms to expand the quantity. So again, you have the natural log of all of this. So the natural log of all of that is like saying, okay, top minus the bottom. So it's the natural log of 3x squared minus the natural log of x plus 1 to the 5th. But we know that any exponent on the inside of the natural log can come out in front as a coefficient. So what that means is that this 5 can come out in front. What property is happening inside here? So it's like natural log of 3 plus the natural log of x squared minus 5 natural log of x plus 1. Exponent can also come out in front. You cannot separate that x plus 1 because that is addition inside the natural log, not multiplication. So a lot of us want to take that addition and turn it to something else. You could not change the natural log of x plus 1. Again, you can shorten the steps too. I was just trying to take it slow and show you line by line. Okay? Express this as a single log. So now I want you to bring them together. So 2 logs being added is the same as coefficients out in front are the same as in what do we know about 8 to the 1/3 power? 2 times 3. So bring in our b. A comes up to y. These addition turns to multiplication, and then your subtraction turns to division. Yeah, this page. Nope. Just the one.
You know what else this page upside down?
Yep. I really have a coffee machine. That's not a happy human being. Okay.
No.
Let's pause. So now these are solved for x. And natural log has x around it. So how do you get rid of a natural log?
Oh,
E.
oh.
So you E and ln. So E and ln are what to each other? Perfect. E and ln are inverses. 3.8 just happen to be inverses, right? So technically in 3.9 we're still taking inverses. What?
So wait, 3.8 was inverses?
3.8 was inverses.
Oh, good to know.
X equals e to the fifth. So e to the fifth is a number.
Oh, wait.
Without a calculator, you wouldn't know what e to the fifth is. If you
It's
go ahead, pick a random number.
He's 1.7 something, so it's gonna be like
It's
7.2-ish.
I'm saying
35.
7.2-ish. Someone check.
Oh.
Did I say 7 point?
Oh,
I forgot it's a power, not multiplication.
You said just 6 now.
He said 7.2, and I was like,
That's why I multiplied. I didn't power.
yes.
There's a difference that I forgot.
Wait, what is it?
Yeah, 2.78.
Shut up.
I love how
He said 1.7, right?
some kangaroos on here.
The only reason I'd want to go.
I want to go just to see all the different.
All right,
Well,
natural log of 5 minus 2x equals negative 3. How do I get to the inside stuff?
You have to put
that's the thing.
fraction.
E it. So you get 5 minus 2x equals e to the negative 3. How do you isolate a variable?
You
Track.
Is Wally a kangaroo?
It's like a baby kangaroo. It's like a little baby.
I've heard before.
No, that's a baby.
All right, this is a single fraction. This is a single fraction. We cannot make single fractions if they are started as single fractions without common denominators. It's the one thing I do want to talk about still. So, this is a single fraction. What do we know about a negative exponent? You can only bring it down if you separate this into two fractions. You can only bring it down if you separate this into two fractions. So you have to treat this like e to the negative 3 over negative 2 minus 5 over negative 2. That is the only way to bring that e down. You cannot bring it down as a single term. Because do you see how these have different bases and are not like terms? So bringing it down when it is a single fraction is not the same as following the laws of algebra. So sometimes we forget those rules and we want to bring this down, but like a lot of times. So I'm just trying to clarify those algebraic laws so we don't make that mistake. If you wanted to write this as a single term, what is this side missing? Yeah. So it'd be negative 1, really, plus 5e cubed, all over 2e cubed. So if you wanted a single term, the 5 needs the e cubed. I'm just trying to review algebra. I just want to make sure we understand those laws. Okay? Natural log of 2x plus 1 equals 2 minus the natural log of x. So, what would we do? Okay. If I e both sides, does that isolate my x's? Wow. What are some natural log laws that would make this better.
Well, wouldn't you, I don't understand this point.
You could split it up.
Oh, I'm saying you should add
Oh, so
If you add the L and X, can't you multiply?
So adding my ln of x to the other side, if you have two natural logs being added, then you can turn it to perfect. Now, if I both sides, the ln's all cancel. So do you see how those properties and algebra laws kind of all are pulling back together? Am I able to solve for x yet? What should I probably do? So you distributed the x, and you could subtract over your e. What type of equation is this? Quadratic. How do you solve a quadratic that's not factorable?
Quadratic formula.
That one thing.
Now, obviously, if this was a question on AP, due to the e squared, you would have a calculator. So go ahead, if you don't have your calculators out, get a calculator and tell me what my two answers or solutions should be.
I haven't used this in here in a long time.
Ooh, I almost
Am I blind or is my backpack not even?
Did you leave your backpack at Mr. Mannion's?
There's a very real chance he left his backpack.
That's a good chance. Then how did I have my?
Is it
This.
90?
I'll get it.
You can just peer over the shoulders of a friend,
Josh,
Yeah,
you
what
impress
we
me
do?
sometimes.
finding out what these two decimals are in the calculator. Hence why he's looking for his backpack.
I remember my calculator.
He forgets a lot.
And the money. Go back to the money. It's all good. It's all good.
Were you supposed to use decimals?
Remember. That's what I learned.
I was like, I'm going there today. I was like, are you saying that? Because also I'm going to my dentist.
Please bring the backpack back.
Hey, you're pretty close.
Back.
Boom! One at two.
Except for his e to the fifth.
But I tried. I was close. I knew it was 7.2. I'm dyslexic. 5s are 2s.
7.6.
5s are 2s.
They're upside down lines. Because everything's lined up.
Tigers, bears.
Did you stay in Nemacolin?
You
just drove.
Well, like,
Okay, so you stayed in that area.
it's like
Farmington.
Josh, you should go lion hunting. You should go rabbit hunting.
Wait, someone? No, what's his name? What did your boyfriend hunt in Africa?
Oh, I
Don't hate
remember
with
that.
hunting in Africa.
Oh.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
All right. So what do you get for your first
I'm
number?
not there yet.
Fine, Slowpoke.
Oh, I just left it.
I'm sorry, I just am not done yet.
What was your plus or minus your square root then?
What?
Was your
Negative 1 plus or minus 7.753222 over 4.
I got 1.6875.
I didn't get any of those in my square root.
Yeah,
What I wrote down.
188, 567, 531.
74, 249, 74.
Oh, 1-800 acres later. 26,
I
26.
got negative 2.1875.
What?
That number? Yeah, someone did. Paid $30,000 number.
Dude,
It's a whole number now? That's smart.
How lucky would you have been if you owned that number?
Yeah, someone did.
No, I mean like before that. You're the one who sold it.
Dude, it's 867. Then it was the person the song was written about.
Right. Under your square root, you got a small number.
7.7.
Under my square root, I got 60.11244. Not the square root value. Under the square
Under
root.
the, I got.
Okay.
I got
Under your
I-
square.
No. Like,
You squared.
I
You took the square root.
Yeah.
Okay.
7.75.
What's under the square root?
That's where you have to watch when you guys are messing up your decimals. 60.112.
Oh, yeah, I got that.
So when you do this, if this is a calculator question, it has to be -1 plus the square root of that whole 60.11. You cannot round the square root because I will change your decimals.
I plugged in the square root. Like I plugged in the square root of 1 minus 4 times 2. I literally just plugged
Okay.
in this. Like 100%.
So your final answer,
1.688.
Negative
1.6, I have 1.688, yes. And then -2.18.
Yeah.
Well, I rounded the decimal one and got that.
Okay. So this one, it didn't hurt you, but like, it's just one of those, like, you don't want to round till you get to your final answer.
So what was the second one? It was negative 2.188.
Yes. You were a 3. It's a 2. All right. So we're capable of getting these. What do you know about the domain of the natural log? Can't be negative. You have to know to cancel this answer.
So I just wrote it in my folder.
This answer would not work if you plugged it back in. The negative would not work if you tried to plug it back in.
It would explode.
Because a natural log cannot be negative. And right here, you would be taking the natural log of a negative.
It's imaginary. Natural log.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. E to the 5 minus 3x equals 10. How do I solve for x?
Size. Oh, yeah. That's a dog.
Okay, so you get 5 minus 3x equals the natural log of 10. So now you have to isolate your x, so you subtract your 5, divide by -3. And then use your calculator to get your decimal approximation. Yep, you never have to write more than 4. What? 3 is all they want. If you write more than 3, you can write 4, but never more than that. You can truncate or completely chop off or round.
Oh, I logged instead of line.
Okay? Number 5. In order to do number 5, what do you have to do first? Add the 7. You need to isolate the E to ln the E. Okay, solving for x, subtract 3, divide by 2. And our decimal approximation is
48.
Not.
Not.
It's like it should joke it.
No, yeah, I was joking.
At least
Yeah,
you think I was joking.
What a negative number again. Oh, wait. I thought say
a natural log has a domain of x greater than or equal to 0.
yeah.
This is an initial e. So
Oh.
e can be negative. And even if this started as a natural log, if it was 2x plus 3, it could still have been this value because if you'd have plugged in 2 times negative 0.5 and then added 3, it'd still be greater than 0. So it actually ultimately depends on, like, it's almost like a square root. How, like, a square root's domain is x greater than or equal to 0, but if you start to change what's under the square root, it changes your domain. Same with a natural log. If you change what's happening to the natural log, then it changes your domain.
Alright.
Oh. Okay, 7e to the x minus e to the 2x equals 12. Solve for x. What are our thoughts? Okay, so even if you divide by 7, that's going to put it over here.
Let me just erase this.
L on both sides.
Just go for it.
Just try it.
Yeah, this one is
It's 7x and
Right.
2x. There you go. 5x equals 12x.
You get 7.
What if I rewrote it? What if I said, so,
Whoa, wait, what? No, we're not.
watch.
Oh.
What if instead of e to the x's, so as everything I wrote, you still believe me, right? All I did was add some parentheses in, okay?
So e to the x is basically the same as x. So that one's
So now watch this. Is still on the same wave page? Algebraically, I haven't broken any laws of algebra, correct?
That's a user.
give me a second.
Because u is e to the x. So everywhere you have an e to the x, I want you to put a u. Can you factor this? Yeah, you can.
You just like a negative 1.
You said mass 3, mass 4. Am I off a negative somewhere?
No, because if you distribute that negative.
Oh, because I was pulling my negative out. So I would make that a negative that policy. Do you see what I did? Just so I could pull my negative out. Okay. Well, what is u? Therefore, what is x? Just that.
I'm just gonna gonna be like B, C, D, E, F.
Do not mess up. It is the quick review, okay? We are doing the quick review.
Okay,
Not the exercises, the quick review.
Someone remind me.
Might be in the trash can.
And my keys.
Okay, well you had your phone for sure because we did the quizzes.
Did you put it in here?
Did you go anywhere for the break?
Why did she get up like that?
It's gonna come falling out.